Welcome to the Blue Cafe. We bring you stories of faith, love, and devotion. Yeah, just kidding, please help us grow by hitting that like button. Now on to the story. Any chance for a successful marriage if the wayward continues to deny the proven affair? Advice OC below is the original 10 weeks. This post has been updated for week 16. My first post about my personal life, and this one is detailed. My wife, 44-year-old, is my first and only love. We've been together 25 years and married for 19. We have two incredible children, 11 and 13-year-old. I'm a highly educated, financially successful 44-year-old M. I'm fit, social, secure and able to retire. Unfortunately, my career success came with working 80-plus-hour weeks and extensive travel away from home over the past 20 years. This clearly contributed to reasons for the affair. Since D-Day, 10 weeks, I'm devastated personally, and depressed for the first time in my life. I still cry every day and can't focus on work. I'm neglecting my company. In the past, I never discussed my feelings with anyone. However, I've joined a men's support group, which has been excellent. I'm reading about this topic extensively and have a few close friends that I can lean on. I'm hitting the gym. We also began marriage counseling. My WW has fearful avoidant attachment and, to my dismay, admires the level of independent traits of a dismissive avoidant. Her love language is quality time, acts of service and words of affirmation. I failed to provide her with those three things, but the AP did. The AP is a Spanish-speaking employee of ours. He worked closely with WW for a year before it became a full EA. Early in the EA, I discovered that WW had a deep friendship with the AP, a recently married employee that gave her adventure etc. AP and I are opposites, and I forced her to draw a new line that was strictly professional. I was naive. After her attempt to reset/break up with the AP, I recently learned the EA restarted about a month later and did progress into a physical affair over the next 5 months. She had an STI scare that led to them fighting and breaking up. She slowly withdrew from him, trying to end the EA relationship but keep it as only professional. After about 18 total months, the EA was fully over in late 2021. I don't believe that she ever wanted to leave me, she just wanted the extra excitement, and it became an unwanted attraction for her. I began discovering the details in June 2022. Since then, I terminated the AP's employment and believe that WW now has zero contact. I want to reconcile with my wife and already have at a superficial level so that our household is calm and increasingly affectionate. We are more lovingly intimate recently than we have been in many years. However, it seems fake because of her continual denial/lying about the events. I have always relied on trust as the foundation for a healthy relationship. In business and other areas of my life, I have zero tolerance for people that I can't trust. I understand that people make mistakes. I could have been a better husband and, recently, wrote her a long apology letter to have a clean slate. Of course, she has not apologized to me because she claims innocence and remains in the position that I need to work on myself. I have the ability to forgive what happened in the past, however, I struggle with the ongoing secret and lying. I'm convinced that she knows she made a mistake and wants to be with me, however, she has too much shame, and desire to protect herself, to admit what happened. She likely justifies it to herself because she ended the affair and has done a bunch of deep self-therapy where she feels that she is mentally healthy now. To me, it seems she will be lying about this to me for the rest of our lives. After continually stonewalling the conversation about the affair and evidence that I've uncovered, she adamantly told me, at 7 weeks D-Day, that she will never talk about the past again. For the first time in my life, I literally screamed through the phone. It was devastating to hear because learning about what happened is key for my recovery. I'm having difficulty giving up the investigation and continuing to learn about the affair, which helps me understand it better, mostly to protect myself in the future. Since then, I stopped asking her questions, which makes me bitter, but I am building a superficially happy relationship with her again. Due to this building resentment, I'm beginning to have strong desires to revenge cheat. For now, I'm channeling this energy back to my relationship with WW and setting up dates and weekend getaways. Logically, I know it's important for me to remain faithful, and I'm sure that I will. Is there any hope that we'll be happy for the long term without WW confessing and showing remorse? Any encouragement or advice is welcome. Sounds to me like you are very emotionally intelligent but insanely over-trusting. She knows this and has weaponized it against you. She is calling your bluff. If anyone has any better advice, I would take it, but as of now I don't see any way that this resolves itself in reconciliation unless you take a firm stance and stop what appears to be sweeping it under the rug. Go speak to a lawyer and start filing for divorce. Serve the papers. Move her out if you can. Remove her from the business if possible. The whole 9 yards. Lastly but most importantly, absolutely stop with the excuses. She cheated because she had low morals and cared more for her joy than your love or sanity. She cheated because she didn't respect you or herself enough not to. She had 100 other options and she chose the one that said "Duck him, I don't care." You may not have been perfect, but good people do not cheat on bad partners, they leave them. I don't mean this to say reconciliation can't fix all of that. It can, but if you rug sweep it and act like a doormat, she will just continue to walk all over you. You need to force the issue, be prepared to walk away and then see if she may be open to reconciliation on proper terms. If not, you need to leave and work on teaching your kids more about self-respect because their mother has non-ATM. Good luck no matter what. I hope this didn't offend you. I just want to see you succeed and was sharing my thoughts about the only way I can see it happening. I think filing for divorce, even if you don't want a divorce, can be a tactic. Your wife is facing no consequences. I don't think reconciliation can work if she takes no ownership of her actions and the consequences on you. Exactly, Will said. I imagine that the more you dig, the more you will find. That tends to be the way of things. And that is part of the reason why she is pushing back and stonewalling you. In answer to your specific question, if one party refuses to address what happened in the past, and how it affects things in the future, then it is hard to see a successful outcome. You're right. I'm still digging and keep finding. It's not trickle truth, it's trickle discovery. I hate to say that, but from my experience when these things happen, this isn't the first time a person cheats, just the first time they got caught. But, maybe your wife is different. I dunno. AP is your ex-employee. I've seen it happen on Reddit before. Contact him and offer him $1 if he can produce hard evidence of a physical affair. Ask him for emails, texts, notes, pictures, IMs, FB messages, IG, etc. and pay him if he delivers. He has no more loyalty to your wife. If you're able to retire, you can pop $25K or so for the evidence you need. Meet him in a public place to make the offer with no written/printed evidence of your ask. Pay cash. I have a bunch of evidence, but this has merit as I try to learn more. I hadn't considered the strategy. If I do, in a few weeks, I'll update my post. This is fiendishly good advice that never occurred to me. Gonna go ahead and say there's a good chance this wasn't her first time either. Especially if you travel a lot. Possibly. Though, in her case, she does take a long time to develop new relationships. The AP worked for her for at least 6 months before the EA became obvious, at least from what I gather. The reason your wife is doing this is because you are negotiating from a position of weakness. She knows you won't leave due to insecurity or the kids or financial repercussions, so she has no impetus to change. My advice to you is just file for divorce and find someone else. Or learn to live with it and don't complain about it. Those are really your only reasonable options. How about asking her which of those options she wants? But you have to mean it if you ask her. Wow. I think that you're right about the position of weakness. I thought I was taking the high road, but I have made it easy to keep up the lies. You are enabling the lies. Just like some good-hearted parents enable drug addiction by giving their kids money for drugs instead of letting them hit rock bottom so they actually want themselves to get help. Need to force a rock bottom? I think so too. It's going to be emotionally tough for you, but it will be good for her and you. Like giving a kid medicine they don't like but will help them get well. I took your advice. Her denied affair is now confessed, finally. Update now it is 16 weeks D-Day. I took your advice. I changed strategy and did the 180 with an attorney etc. update to initial post, which was 10 weeks D-Day, asking any chance for successful marriage if continued denial. Link. Her final confession at 14 weeks revealed more lies at today's discovery session, week 16. Getting to a confession took threats of divorce, intensive MC and an emotional outburst where I was calling the AP's wife in front of her. The result? My STBXW admitted to having sex 2-3x per week with our employee, full-time handyman, for 15 months from February 2021 to May 2022. Supposedly, this was almost all in the backseat of her SUV. She didn't end it with him until after my initial D-Day of finding our notebook, which was only one day before I took her, and our family, on a $25,000 trip to Paris. She broke up with AP after Paris because I discovered her notebook. She said that it was winding down anyway and happy it is over. She had tried to end it since it began but didn't have the courage. It wasn't happy or healthy for her, but she was strangely stuck in needing his emotional approval. It was obvious from the notebook that her affair was tumultuous for 2 years. Initially, she had a 2-year emotional affair, beginning February 2019, before the 15-month sexual affair began. I don't understand her relationship with AP at all. She claims limerence, and was clear that contemplated breaking up with him for most of the 15 months. It was a constant drama. However, I was totally oblivious. She was having sex with me as well. We led a normal married life of sex 1-3x per week, dates and vacations etc. She had lived 2 lives. I think about it like she chose a second husband but just never told me. She claims no other affairs. She wants to reconcile of course. Upon confession, I immediately called and met with the AP's wife, based on the advice received here on Reddit. AP's wife is devastated but so happy to know. She is planning to divorce and fight his immigration process. I am supporting her financially, including for her to have counseling. STBXW is an excellent liar that has passed a polygraph. I'd warn anyone that is thinking about using a polygraph as a truth tool that it can easily backfire if she is a good liar. She had used that against me during the 14 weeks of her denial. Now that I know, and the lack of true remorse during the 16 weeks, I'm ready to divorce. She is extremely sorry now and wants us to stay together. We're signed up for an affair recovery course. I'll use this to try to heal and forgive as we have 2 incredible children to raise together. She really isn't capable of loving the way that I loved her. Had some childhood trauma and maybe some type of disorder? Tonight, I got a beach condo to separate for the first time in our 20+ years. During the daytime, we are raising our kids and acting normal. It will take time to separate our lives and get a divorce because we're financially complicated. I really don't know how to be alone yet. I'm truly broken without having my best friend any longer. Upon learning the truth today through a 3-hour MC session, it is really strange how good I feel considering this mess. I'm looking forward to the next chapter of my life. I couldn't have this positive feeling if I was considering our kids have started counseling as well. The AP spent significant time at our house and knows our children well, gave them many gifts etc. We're all no contact and I'm trying to remove triggers from his presence in our lives. Thank you to this community for your support. I appreciate any advice or encouragement. Someone who lies this easily is only emotionally dangerous. It sounds almost sociopathic. You are making the right choice to move on. I just looked up as a sociopath. I don't think that she takes pleasure in hurting others, however, certainly has little to no regard for the pain of others. Looking back, my parents and I recognized signs of this before we were ever married. At the time, we actually made fun of her lack of empathy, as a joke for how cold she could be at times. It really sucks that we have a tendency to downplay concerns in favor of seeing someone's good traits. We spend our whole lives trusting that people are generally good, but there's always gonna be someone to break that trust for us. You're right. My natural instinct is to trust. Because I'm trustworthy. And isn't everyone like me? Rhetorical. We're on the same page. I'm sorry you were also hurt by this trust, blue heart. Yes. And it screwed me over too. We always want to see the good in someone and we try our hardest to. We keep searching for the good until it finally blows up in our face with blaring red lights and sounding alarms. And then we are left to soothe our own wounds. I am so sorry for what you are going through. Yes, I've erred in this way. I'm so sorry, you didn't deserve that. All BS do not deserve it, yet here we are. What a harsh lesson to be taught. From your writing, the things that you mention as important, you sound like a caring person. Care about your wife only because she is the mother of your kids, treat her fairly in the divorce settlement only for the sake of the kids, but don't let her take advantage. Your life should be about you and your kids, teach them how to love, but also be aware that people may try to take advantage of them, using a twist on what former President Reagan said, love, but stay aware. Thanks, agreed. Wow. Her lack of empathy would have sent me running for the hills. When a person can't feel for others that are suffering, a massively big red flag that should never be ignored. I know now. Lesson learned. Hopefully, if there's a custody issue, a good lawyer and mental review could prove this. Where we live it would be 50-50. Even if the psych evaluation/medical review proves her to be unfit. From what I've been advised, we'd share custody 50-50 in almost all cases except the very extreme. Yes. I'm glad you got the truth. Is it the truth though? I don't think it is the full truth. The SUV thing doesn't make sense to me. But, I'm trying not to care anymore. We hope you have enjoyed today's episode. Please comment, like and subscribe. Cheers. Have a wonderful day or night. Wherever you are.